of Entour's 50th season, Arsenic and Old Lace. Just a few reminders before we begin. Smoking is not permitted in the theater or anywhere on school grounds. There are emergency exits located in the rear where you enter the little theater. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and note that both texting and flash photography are not permitted, as they distract both the audience and performers. Tonight, the role of Officer Klein, usually played by Dylan Levender, will be played by Jacqueline Dobbs. There are 2 15-minute intermissions over the course of the show. Remember to stop at the concession stand for any cold water or other refreshments you may need, but I wouldn't suggest drinking any elderberry wine if it's offered. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yes, indeed. Sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In just 2 short years, you've managed to take on the spirit of Brooklyn.
That's gratifying to hear, Miss Brewster.
Living here next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we've always said, is friendliness, and your sermons aren't so much sermons as they are friendly talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Well, have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet. Are the biscuits any good?
Fully.
Would you like another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, thank you. We'll hardly have any room for dinner now. I've always had far too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam.
But you haven't tried the quince. We always put a little apple in it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
We'll send you over a jar.
No, you keep it here so that I can be sure of having your biscuits with it.
I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again like they did in the war. It may not be very charitable of me, but I've come to the conclusion that Mr. Hitler wasn't a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, ma'am?
Yes, Teddy.
I'll point the gun the other way.
Gun?
Teddy?
To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. China!
Yes, of course.
Now, Teddy.
No, Aunt Tabby. Let's talk about Europe and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Would you like another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Tabby.
Dr. Harper?
No. I must say, Miss Abby, I find that war and violence seem far removed from these surroundings.
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day, they're all here in this house. The gentle virtues that blow away with good manners and low taxes.
Yes, it's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity, and we use that as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
Yes, well, it appears your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light.
He has to work so late, the poor boy. I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater again tonight. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later. We're so happy it's Elaine Mortimer takes with him to the theater.
Yes, well, it's certainly a new experience for me to wait up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Oh, Dr. Harper, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well,
We would feel so guilty, Sister Martha and I, since it was in our home that Elaine first met Mortimer.
oh, no, Miss Abby. Do not be the first to say that I find Mortimer to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also say that I have been watching their growing intimacy with some trepidation. For one reason, Miss Abby.
You mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so, poor boy.
No, Miss Abby, I'll be frank with you. It has to do with your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh, no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer works for the New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, but I also don't doubt that dramatic critics do develop an interest in the theater.
Well, not Mortimer. You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Oh, yes, he writes awful things about it. But you can't blame him, poor boy. He was so happy writing about real estate, which he really knew something about, and then they just made him take this terrible knack position.
My.
But as Mortimer says, theater can't last much longer anyway, and in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I'm going to give the theater another year or two, perhaps. And no, thank you, Teddy. I'll go. Come in, Mr. Brophy.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How are you, Officer Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
What news have you brought me?
Colonel, you've nothing to report.
Splendid! Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
You know Dr. Harper.
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper.
We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes. That's splendid work you men do, delivering toys to poor children to give them a happier Christmas.
It gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station, you know? You get tired of playing cards, and then you start to clean your gun, and the next thing you know, you shot yourself in the foot!
Take go upstairs and get that big box in at Martha's room. How is Mrs. Brophy today? Mrs. Brophy has been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia. She's doing better. A little weak still.
We'll get you some beef broth to take care of.
Don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already.
Oh, we made it this morning. Martha's overtaken to poor Mr. Panitsky right now. I'll be right back. I won't be a minute. Sit down, be comfortable, all of you.
She really shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice for nothing? They don't even care how you vote!
When I received the call to Brooklyn, my husband wasn't well. When he died, and for months before. Well, if I had known what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
The Brewster sisters are one of the nicest ladies in the city.
Didn't you say something about their home? I heard that marvelous rumors about this place. Something about their father?
Oh, yes. Well, his father, you know, the old girl's brother, he was some sort of a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, well, what seems to me I've heard was a little crazy too.
Yeah, he was crazy like a fox. But he made $1 million.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah. Patent medicine. Was some sort of quack at it. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. He used to house here as a clinic and tried him out on people.
Yeah, and I've heard he used to occasionally make some mistakes too.
Well, the department never bothered him much because he was pretty useful with autopsies sometimes, especially poison cases.
Well, whatever it is that he did, he left his daughters fixed for life, and thank God for that.
Not that they ever spend any of it on themselves.
Yes, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know one tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, I was trying to trace an old man that we never did find. But do you know there's a renting agency that has this house here on a list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet anybody looking for a place to stay will come here and get a good meal and a few dollars to their kick.
Just a way of digging up people to do some good.
Well, now it's a business now.
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brophy? Dr. Harper, Officer Klein.
How are you, Miss Brewster? We just dropped in to get the Christmas toys.
Oh, yes, Teddy's already leaving. We wear out. They're all packed.
The Colonel's upstairs after them. It seems the cabinet has to okay it.
Oh, yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy's better.
She's doing better, ma'am. Your sister's getting some soup for me to take care of.
Oh, yes, we made it just this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, you're back, Martha. How was Mr. Panitsky?
Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. He's going to amputate in the morning.
Can we be present?
No. I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
You couldn't blame yourselves, and surely you must have spared yourselves something.
Here's the beef broth, Mr. Brophy. Be sure it's good enough.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
This is fine.
that
O'Malley boy is nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles. I've retired him. What's this? The organ?
Teddy dear, put it back.
But the organ goes to Australia!
Now, Teddy.
No, I've given my word to fighting veterans.
But Teddy!
What difference does it make what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, is it Cohen's? We'll run low now, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Oh, not at all. Goodbye.
I best be going. I must be needed at home soon.
Oh, before you go, Dr. Harper.
Charge! Charge the blackout!
The blockhouse.
The stairs always San Juan Hill.
Have you ever tried to convince him that maybe he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Once, remember, Martha? We thought if he would be George Washington, it might be nice for a change.
But he just stayed under his bed for days and just couldn't be anybody.
And we'd so much rather him be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy, and more importantly, you're happy, you'll see that he signs these.
What are they?
Dr. Harper has made arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on.
Well, why should Teddy sign any papers now?
It's best to have it all settled. Should the Lord take you away before you're ready, and Teddy shouldn't commit himself, that would lead to some unpleasant legal procedures. Mr. Witherspoon will see that these are held away until they are to be used accordingly.
Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
He's the president of Happydale.
Dr. Harper's made arrangements for him to come by tomorrow and meet Teddy.
Well, I best be going. Elaine will be looking for me.
Goodbye, Dr. Harper. Give our love to Elaine, and please don't think poorly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Abby, did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Yes, and dinner's going to be late too.
So what?
Teddy, good news for you. You're going down to Panama to dig another lock for the canal.
Delighted! That's bullying. Just bullying. I'm prepared for the journey at once. Charge!
Abby, while I was out.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't know when you were going to be home, and Dr. Harper was coming.
But all by yourself.
Oh, I got along fine.
Well, run right downstairs and see.
Oh, no, there wasn't time. And I was all alone.
Well,
Martha, just look in the window seat. Oh, it's Elaine. Come in here.
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Mother was here.
she just this minute left. Didn't you meet her?
No, I took the shortcut through the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet.
No, dear.
Oh, he asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Oh, no, not at all.
Do sit down.
But we really should speak to Mortimer about doing this.
Doing what?
Well, we raised him to know better. When a gentleman takes a young lady out, he should call for her at her house.
Oh, it's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
He's done this too often. We were going to speak to him.
Oh, please don't. After young men whose idea of nightlife is to take me to prayer meeting, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
It's a comfort for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of the plays he has to see, at least he's with the minister's daughter.
Oh, Elaine, what must you think of us, not having tea cleared away by this time?
Now, don't bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute now.
Well, Mother must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say goodnight to her.
It's a shame you missed her, dear.
If Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back.
Hello, Elaine.
Hello, Mort.
Hello, Aunt Martha.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Were you going somewhere?
I was just going to tell Mother not to wait up for me tonight.
No, that was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, darling?
Fine. And you look well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes.
We're seeing an awful lot of you lately. Well, come, sit down.
Abby, hadn't we something to do in the kitchen? Huh? You know, the tea thing.
Oh, yes, the tea thing. Well, you two go make yourselves home. Just make yourselves home.
Oh.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show?
Well, that would make it pretty late, won't it?
Not with the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be fair to these
Are
plays.
these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
That musical isn't opening tonight.
No?
Darling, you'll have to learn the rules. With a musical, there are always 4 changes of title and 3 postponements. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it would be a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Not a bit! Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, you join the proletariat in the subway, and I listen to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you take me home in a taxi, and you make a few passes.
Oh, now, darling, that is a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Oh, well, I must admit that after the Berman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. And that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. But it wasn't until after our first musical you told me I have nice legs. And I have, too.
You're a minister's daughter. You sure know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
In the choir loft.
Oh, I'll explain that to you sometime, darling. The close connection between eroticism and religion.
For religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better run over and tell Mother not to wait up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not speaking to articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No. I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legalities.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where could we be married in a hurry? Say, tonight?
I'm afraid Mother will insist on officiating.
God, I'll bet even your mother could make the marriage service sound pedestrian.
Are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. I may have to give that play tonight a good notice.
Oh, don't pretend you love me that much.
Where are you going? I have to tell them Walter Winchell and tell them to publish the band.
So let's.
All right. Everything's formal and legal. But, later the next month.
Darling, I'll talk it over with Mother and set the date.
No, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. Well, there'll be plenty of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Mr. President. How are you?
Bully, what news have you brought me?
Just this. Mr. President, the country is squarely behind you.
Yes, isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Oh.
So where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Ham is the cellar. He digs locks for the canals out there.
You're very sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunts never mentioned him.
Well, we don't like to talk much about Jonathan. He left Brooklyn very early, by request. Jonathan was the kind of boy who liked to cut worms in two with his teeth.
What became of him?
I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him into trouble.
Aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
Oh, we're skipping dinner. We won't have to start for half an hour.
Oh, then I'll leave you alone again.
Oh, don't bother. I'd better run over and speak to Mother. Before I go out with you, she likes to pray over me a little.
Well, if the prayer isn't too long, we'll have time to leave you beside distilled waters.
Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. I knew Elaine would be a good influence on you.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, Mortimer! Martha, you come right in here. I have the most wonderful news for you. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married. We hope it can happen just like this.
Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy. Just look at her leaping over those gravestones. See, what's that?
What's what, dear?
See that statue there? That's a horned Anita Karina.
Oh, no, dear. That's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
No, standing on Mrs. Stout's left ear. See that? That's a red-crested swallow. I've only ever seen one of those before in my life.
I don't know how you could be thinking about a bird now. What with Elaine and the engagement and everything.
Well, it's an endangered species. Thoreau was very fond of them. Which reminds me, I left a large envelope around here sometime last week. It's one of the chapters of my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere.
When are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about
Elaine? Oh, yes, Elaine. Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What box?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine gets back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. We must drink to your happiness. Martha, don't we have a little more of that Lady Baltimore cake left?
Oh, yes.
And I'll open a bottle of wine.
Going to think it happened in this room.
Now, where can I have put that?
Well, with Elaine sitting beside you tonight, I do hope this play will be something you can enjoy for once. It may be something romantic. What's the name of it?
Murder will out.
Oh, dear.
Now, when the curtain goes up, the first thing you'll see will be a dead body. Aunt Abby!
Yes, dear?
Oh, you were making plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, Happydale?
Yes, dear, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper came by with the papers this morning for Teddy to sign. Here they are.
He's got to sign them right away.
That's what Dr. Harper thinks. That way there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's down in the cellar. Get him up here right away.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, when Teddy gets to work on his anatomy, you can't get his mind on anything else.
He's got to go to Happydale this minute, tonight.
Oh, no, dear. That's not until afterwards.
No, right away, I tell you, right away.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? Why, as long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
Look, darlings, I'm frightfully sorry, but I've got some shocking news for you. Now, we all have to try and keep our heads. You know, we sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
He is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale, why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned against Teddy, your own brother?
You got to know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy has killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There was a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Of course, dear, but it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget!
You never dreamed you were he.
But who is he?
His name's Hoskins, dear. Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a medic.
That's all you know about him? Well, what's he doing there? What happened to him?
He died.
Martha, men just don't get into window seats and die.
Well, no, he died.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
Ah, how did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in a tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine.
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you knew what you'd done. You didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body.
Well, not in tea. That wouldn't be very nice. Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have the right to our own little secret.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's much better, but she wants us to take Junior to the movies again.
Well, we must do that tomorrow or the next.
Yes, but this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
Hello? Al? Do you know who this is? Yes, it's right. Say, Al, when I left your office earlier today, I told you where I was going. Well, where did I say? Uh-huh. Well, it would take me about half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right. I must be here. And Tabby and Martha, come in here. Come in here now. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in there.
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
What? My God, I can't turn you into the police, but what am I supposed to do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
And for goodness sake, stop worrying. We told you, forget the whole thing.
But Mr. Hotchkiss, forget! My dear Aunt Abby, how can I make you realize that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, you behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But I already told you, Mr. Hotchkiss.
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, you can't just leave him there.
We don't intend to, dear.
No, Teddy's down in the cellar digging the lock.
You mean you're gonna bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar?
Of course, dear, that's what we did with the others.
No, you can't bury Mr. Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean like others, more than one others?
Yes, dear, let me see. This is 11.
No, dear, this name's 12.
Oh, no, Abby, I think you're wrong. This is only 11.
No, because I distinctly remember when Mr. Hoskins first came in
Hello? Oh, hello, Al. My, it's good to hear your voice.
Well, anyway, they're all down in the cellar.
What? No, Al, I'm as sober as a lark. Look, I just called you because I was feeling a little pirandello. You wouldn't know. Look, Al, I'm glad you called. Get a hold of George. He's got a rider review of that play tonight. No, I can't make it. No, Al, you're wrong. Will you just get a hold of George and have him go to the theater instead of me? I'll tell you about it in the morning. No, this is my department and I'm running it. You get a hold of George. Oh. Now, where were we? 12?
Yes, that is not the first one, and that makes 12.
All right. Well, who was the first one?
Mr. Mitchell, he was the Baptist.
Well, I still don't think we can claim full credit for him because he just died.
Martha is without any help from us. You see, it was just after you moved out, and you're looking for a room.
It was right after you moved to New York.
We didn't think it was right for your room to be going to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, and it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
He felt so sorry for you.
And then, when his heart attack came and he sat dead right in that chair, he looked so peaceful. Remember, Martha? We thought to ourselves we could help other lonely old men to that same peace we would.
You mean he dropped dead right in this chair? Oh, how awful for you.
Oh, no, dear. Why, it was rather like old times. Grandfather always used to keep a cadaver or two around the house. Teddy had been digging in Panama and thought that Mr. Mitchley was a yellow fever victim.
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we took him down to the cellar and put him in the lock.
Of course, we knew we couldn't depend on that just happening again, so...
You remember all those jars of poison Grandfather used to keep in his laboratory all these years?
You know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough for Piccadilly.
Yes. For a gallon of elderberry wine, I add a teaspoonful of arsenic. Then add half a teaspoonful of strychnine and then just a pinch of cyanide.
Sure have quite a kick.
It does. In fact, one of our gentlemen even found time to say, "How delicious."
Well, I really should get things started in the kitchen.
I wish you could join us for dinner.
I'm trying to rest.
Couldn't eat a thing.
I'll be ready to help you, dear.
Well, I feel so much better now.
Oh, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? I'll leave you alone with your thoughts.
Oh, God. Oh, it's you!
Oh, don't be cross, darling. Mother could see that I was excited, so I told her about us, and that made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, she's not going to wait up for me tonight.
You run along home, Elaine. I'll call you up tomorrow.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Elaine, something's just come up.
Well, what's wrong? Mortimer, you've lost your job.
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight. Now, you run along home. I'll tell you about it in a while. I don't know.
But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But if we're going to be married.
Married?
Have you forgotten that about 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Oh, yes. Yes. Well, as far as I know, that is still on. Now, you run along home. I've got to do something.
Listen, you can't just propose to me one minute and then throw me out of the house the next.
I am not throwing you out of the house. Will you please just get out of here?
No, I won't get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Ah, wait! Oh. Hello? Oh, hello, Al. Yeah, okay, wait, it's important. Okay, wait a minute, can it? Hold on! Look, Elaine, you are a sweet girl, and I love you, but I've got a lot on my mind right now, and I just need you to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
When we're married and I have problems to face, I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
When we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine. Hello? City desk? Hello, city desk? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number.
May I see the room?
Why don't you sit down and let's get acquainted?
That won't do me much good if I don't like the room.
Is Brooklyn your home?
Haven't got it home. Live in a hotel. Don't like it.
Hello? Oh, hello, city desk. Can I talk to Al, please? To Al? Put me on the line with Al.
Are your family Brooklyn people?
Haven't got any family.
All alone in the world?
Yep.
Well, Martha. Well, you come to just the right house. Do sit down.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm a Presbyterian. Used to be.
What's George doing in Bermuda? Well, certainly I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it?
Is it always this loud?
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
Well, there must be somebody around the office. Look out, the office boy, the one we don't like. Let's you look around the office. I'll hold on.
Won't you try a glass of our wine before we start up?
Never touch it.
We make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine. I haven't had elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Well, there must be some printers around. Look, Al, the fellow who sent my copy. His name is Joe. He's the third machine from the left. But Al, he might turn out to be the next Brooks Atkinson. Well, you just look around, okay? I'll hold on. No, I am not drinking, but I'm going to start now.
You serve meals?
Oh, we might, but first see whether you like our wine.
Hey, you should probably not drink that. Don't drink that.
Stop it.
One more time.
Not that.
Oh! Oh, you get out of this house! Get out of this house right now! Get out of this house! Do you want to be murdered? Do you want to be poisoned? Do you want to be killed? Do you want to die? Now!
Now you've spoiled everything.
You can't do that. I can explain this to you, but not only is it against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
What I mean is, well, this has developed into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't try to stop you from doing the things you like to do. I don't see why you should interfere with us.
Hello? Hello, Al. Fine. I'll see the first act and I'll pan the hell out of it. But look, you gotta do something for me. Get a hold of O'Brien, our lawyer, the head of our legal department. You have him meet me at the theater. All right, I'm counting on you. All right, I'm starting now. Look, I have to go to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, I want you to promise me something.
Well, we'd have to know what it was first.
I love you very much, and I know you love me. You know I would do anything in the world for you, and I want you to do just this one little thing for me.
What do you want us to do, Mortimer?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
I need time to think, and I've got quite a little to think about. I just, you know I wouldn't want anything to happen to the two of you.
What on earth could happen to us?
Just promise me you won't do this. You won't do anything while I'm gone.
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Certainly! You don't think we'd bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist funeral, do you? Like he was a Methodist!
But can't that wait until I get back?
Oh, then you could join us!
Yes, I can join you. Yes!
Mortimer, you'll love the services, especially the hymns. Martha, you remember how beautifully Mortimer used to sing in the church choir before his voice changed?
But you're going to promise me you're not going to let anyone in this house, right? It's a promise?
Well,
Martha, I think we can do this for Mortimer now that he's cooperating with us. Well, all right, Mortimer.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, do you have any paper around? I'll be home as soon as I can. There's a man I've got to see.
I have some stationery. Will this do?
Yeah, that'll be fine. You know, I could save time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today.
Yes, I think I know why.
Why?
He's just been engaged to be married. I suppose that always makes a man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for Elaine. And their honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
No, well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
I could never understand why he wanted to go those places.
Well, I think the theaters always seem pretty small potatoes to Mortimer. He needs something big to criticize. Something like the human race.
Oh, if Mortimer's going to join us for the funeral services, then we'll need another hymnal. There's one in my room.
You know, dear, it really is my turn to read the services, but since you were out when Mr. Hoskins came, I think you should do it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear, but are you sure you want me to?
It's only fair.
Oh, well, I think I'll wear my black bombazine and mother's old brooch.
Oh, I'll get it.
Mortimer said we couldn't let anybody in.
Well, who do you suppose it is?
I don't know. I'll check. It's two men I've never seen before.
Are you sure?
There's a car at the curb. They must have come in that.
Let me look.
You recognize them?
They're strangers to me.
Well, just let's pretend we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Yeah, it's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Oh, look, Johnny, drinks!
As though we were expecting a good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why, Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's Jonathan.
You get out of here!
I'm Jonathan. Your nephew, Jonathan?
You're not Jonathan. You're nothing like Jonathan, so don't pretend you are. You just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
He's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein. Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar to hide the scar where Grandfather's acid burned.
His voice is like Jonathan's.
Have you been in an accident?
No! My face? Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
But I've seen that face before. Abby, remember when we took the little Schultz boys to the movies and we were so frightened? It was that face.
Oh, easy, Johnny, easy. Oh, don't worry, ladies. The last 5 years, I give Johnny 3 new faces. I give him another one right away. And this last face, I saw that picture too, just before I operated. And I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor? You see you talk to me? Even my own family!
Johnny, you're home! Oh, in this lovely house. How often Johnny tells me about problems about this house. Oh, about his aunts that he loves so much. They see it's you, Johnny. They know it's you. Say it to him. Tell him so.
Well, Jonathan,
Oh. England, South Africa, Australia. The last 5 years, Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together.
Oh, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Oh, yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, it's wonderful to be in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older. Just as I remembered you. Sweet, charming, hospitable, and dear Teddy. Did he get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, was determined to become president.
Oh, Teddy's just fine, and Mortimer's well too.
Oh, I know about Mortimer. I see this picture I've had of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promise of his early nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Jonathan, it's been very nice to see you.
Bless you! And Martha. It's good to be home again.
Well, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
Yes, Jonathan! Hey, you'll excuse us for a minute, unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
Well, John, where do we go from here? We've got to think fast. The police have pictures of that face. I've got to operate on you right away. We've got to find some place for that. Oh, and we've got to find a place for Mr. Spinazzo too.
Don't waste any worry on that rat.
Johnny, we got a lot of stiff in our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinazzo!
You can't leave a dead body in the rubber seats. Oh, John, you shouldn't have killed him. He's a nice fellow. He gave us a ride, and what happens?
He said I looked like Boris Karloff. That's your work, Doctor. You did that to me.
Finally, I picked you up.
Tonight.
I picked you up beautifully. Oh,
Well, Jonathan, we're glad you remembered us and took the time to come in and say hello, but you were never happy in this house, and we were never happy with you in it, so we've just come in to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say that your feeling toward me comes as a surprise. I spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a boy.
You were quite a trial to us.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I promised him that no matter how rushed we were in passing through Brooklyn, I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh!
I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough.
Abby, it's a pretty good-sized pot roast.
Hot roast.
The least we can do is to give
Thank you, Aunt Martha. We'll stay to dinner.
Well, we'll hurry it along.
Yes.
I'll be right in to help you, dear. Jonathan, if you want to wash up, you can use the washroom in your grandfather's old laboratory.
Is that still there?
Yes, just as he left it. Well, I'll go help Martha in the kitchen, since we're all in a rush.
well, we get the meal anyway.
Grandfather's laboratory! And just as it was, Doctor, a perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
After you finished with me, why, we could make a fortune here. The laboratory, the large ward in the attic, 10 beds, Doctor. And Brooklyn is crying for your talents.
Oh, why work yourself up, Johnny? Anyway, through Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face.
Oh, but so many of the old faces are locked up.
A very small percentage. And the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Oh, take it easy, Johnny. Your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, but after dinner.
Leave it to me, Doctor. I'll handle it. Why, this'll be our headquarters for years.
Oh, that would be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. Your aunts, such lovely ladies. I love them already. I get the best.
Doctor! We must wait until we're invited.
But you just said that.
We'll be invited.
And if they say no?
Doctor. 2 helpless old women.
Oh, it's like comes true, a beautiful dream. Only I hope you aren't dreaming. Oh, it's so peaceful.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful.
Well, Jonathan, it sounds like you've led a very interesting life, but you really shouldn't have allowed your talk so late.
My meeting, Dr. Einstein, there he is, in London, I might say, changed the whole course of my life. You remember I had been in South Africa, in the diamond business, then Amsterdam, the diamond market. I wanted to go back to South Africa, and Dr. Einstein made it possible.
A good job, Johnny. When we take off the bandages, his face looks so different than nurse had introduced me.
I love that face. I still carry the picture with me.
Oh, it looks more like how you used to look, but I still wouldn't recognize you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Oh, yeah, it's safe now.
Well, I'm sure you two want to get back to where you're going.
My dear ass, I'm so full of that delicious dinner. I'm unable to move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
After all, it's very late and I think we should probably get
I found it! I found it!
What did you find, Teddy?
The story of my life, my biography. Here we are. Here's the picture I was telling you about. Here we are. Both you and me, President Roosevelt and General Goethals at Calabria Cut. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how a change.
Well, you see, that picture hasn't been taken yet. We haven't started work on the Calabria Cut. We're still digging locks in the cellar. Oh, speaking of which, you and me will go to Panama and inspect the new lock.
No, Teddy, not to Panama.
Panama's a long way off. We go some other time.
Nonsense. It's just down in the cellar.
Cellar?
We let him dig the Panama Canal in the center.
General Goethals, as President of the United States and Commander and Chief in the Army and the Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand you accompany me to the inspection of the new lock.
Teddy! I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon? Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Go to bed!
No, you're not Wilson. Your face does seem familiar, though. Let's see. I wouldn't know you now. Oh, perhaps I meet you in the jungle in Africa. Yes, you look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
It's your brother, Jonathan, dear.
He's had a space change.
Ah, that's it. A nature faker.
Perhaps you had better get to bed, Teddy. It's awful late, and Jonathan and his friends were just about to head back to their hotel.
General Goethals, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President, we go to Panama.
Bully, just bully. Follow me, General. Down south, you know.
Well, bon voyage.
And, Abby, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of our hotel. We have no hotel. We came directly
There's a
here.
nice little hotel just 3 blocks down.
And Martha, this is my home!
Jonathan, you can't stay here. We need our rooms.
You leave them?
Yes, for our lodgings.
Are there lodgers in this house?
Well, not just yet, but we plan to have some.
Then my old room is still free.
But there wouldn't be any room for Dr. Einstein.
He'll share the room with me.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay here.
Dr. Einstein and I need a place to sleep. You remember this afternoon that as a boy I could be disagreeable. It wouldn't be very pleasant for any of us
Perhaps we had better let them stay here tonight.
That's settled. Now, if you'll get my room ready.
It only needs airing out.
We keep it ready to show our lodgers. I'm sure you and Dr. Einstein will find it comfortable.
You have a most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skill. But you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a very different John.
He can't operate on you here.
When Dr. Einstein and I get organized, when we resume practice. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're turning grandfather's laboratory into an operating room. We expect to be quite busy.
Jonathan, I will not let you turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens no. It'll be a beauty parlor.
Hey, Johnny, down
Dr. Einstein! My dear aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you missed it.
Well, you're sleeping here tonight.
Please get our room ready immediately.
Well,
Or tonight.
Oh, but Johnny, when I go down in the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
Panama Canal.
It's a whole teddy dome, 6 feet long and 4 feet wide. It fits Mr. Spinazzo.
Down there!
Oh, you think they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinazzo along? That's hospitality.
Rather a good joke on my aunts. We're living in a house with a body buried in the cellar.
How do we get him in?
Yes. We can't just walk in through the door. We'll drive the car between the house and the cemetery. Then, when they've gone to bed, we'll bring Mr. Spinazzo in through the window.
Bed, just think, Johnny. Oh, we got a bed tonight.
Easy, doctor! Remember, you're operating tomorrow.
Oh.
And this time you better be sober.
Oh, Johnny, I think so. Give it to me.
And if you don't,
Jonathan, your room is ready.
then you can go to bed. We're moving the car up behind the house.
it's all right where it is. Until morning.
I don't want to leave it in the street. That might be against the law.
Abby, what are we going to do?
Well, we're not going to let them stay in this house more than one night, that's for one thing. What would the neighbors think? People coming in here with one face and leaving with another.
What are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, Mr. Hoskins, it can't be very comfortable for him in there, poor dear. I think we better get Teddy to take him down to Panama right away.
General Gothels is very pleased. He says the canal is just the right size.
Teddy, there's been another yellow fever hit.
Dear me, this will be a shock to the General.
Then we mustn't tell him about it.
But it's his department.
No, Teddy, you mustn't tell him. It would just spoil his visit.
I'm sorry, Aunt Tabby. He must be told. Army regulations, you know.
No, we must keep it a secret.
Yes.
A state secret?
Yes, a state secret.
Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, let's see. How are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, you go back down to Panama, and I'll turn out the lights. And when it's all dark, you come up and take the poor gentleman down to the canal.
Yes, then we'll join you in the cellar and help you with the services.
You may announce the president will say a few words. Where is the poor devil?
He's in the window seat.
Seems to be spreading. Never had devil fever there before.
Martha, I think with Jonathan and Dr. Einstein get back, we better get them to go to bed right away.
Yes, and by the time that they're asleep, we'll be dressed for the services. Abby, I've never seen Mr. Hosky.
Oh, that's right, you were out. Well, you come right over and see him. He's really very nice looking, considering he's mentalist.
We're bringing the luggage.
Jonathan, your room is ready. You better run along.
I'm afraid we don't keep regular hours. Will you two run along to bed?
I'm sure you must be very tired, and we never go to bed this early.
Well, you should. It's time I came home to take care of you.
We weren't planning on going until you...
Esmeralda! Did you hear me say go to bed? The instruments can go to the laboratory in the morning. Now then, we're all going to bed.
I'll wait until after you're up, then turn out the lights.
Run along, Aunt Martha. All right, Aunt Abby.
I'll be right there, dear.
Now, Aunt Abby, turn out the lights.
All right, Johnny.
I'll get the window open. You go around and have him through.
No, he's too heavy for me, Johnny. You go outside and push, I stay inside and pull. Then together we get him down to Panama.
All right. I'll take a look around outside the house. When I tap on the glass, you open the window.
Oh, no, I don't. Oh, that was me, Johnny. I slipped.
Be more careful.
Oh, Johnny, quick! Someone at the door! Go quick, I manage here. You go. Yeah.
Miss Abby? Miss Martha? Miss Abby? Miss Martha? Who is it? Oh, is that you, Teddy? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Elaine Harper. I live next door.
Then what are you doing here?
I just came over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Doctor, turn on the lights. You chose rather an untimely moment for a social.
I think you'd better explain what you were doing here.
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I'm in this house every day and I've never seen you before. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done to them?
Perhaps we better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein.
Dr. Einstein?
A surgeon of great distinction. And something of a magician.
And I suppose you're going to tell me you're Boris Karloff.
I'm Jonathan Brewster!
Oh, you're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of him.
Yes, just this afternoon for the first time.
And what did they say about me?
Only that there was another brother named Jonathan. That's all that was said. Well, that explains everything. Now that I know who you are, I'll be running along home. If you'll kindly unlock the door.
That explains everything? Just what did you mean by that? Why did you come here at this time of night?
I thought I saw somebody prowling around the house. I suppose it was you.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house?
Yes. Weren't you outside? Isn't that your car?
You saw someone at the car.
Yes.
What else did you see?
Just someone walking around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
That's it. That's all. That's why I came over here. I was going to tell Miss Abby to call the police. But if it was you, and that's your car, then I don't need to bother Miss Abby. I'll be running along home.
What was the man doing at the car?
I don't know. You see, I was on my way over here.
I think you're lying.
I think she tells the truth. We let her go, yeah?
I think she's lying. Breaking into a house at this time of night. I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be let loose.
Get your hands off me!
Catch her!
Come here, private girl.
Teddy, tell these men who I am.
That's my daughter Alice. Dad!
Oh, no, Teddy!
Doctor! Your handkerchief! The cellar! Open the door!
What's the matter? What's happening?
We called a burglar. Sneak thief, go back to your room.
Oh, we'll call the police.
We've called the police. We'll handle this. Go back to your room. Do you hear me?
Who was that? You need some help?
Carter, where have you been?
To the Broadhurst Theater. I should have known better. My God! He's still there.
This is Jonathan, and that's Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Lorna.
Who'd you say this was again?
It's your brother, Jonathan. He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you always were a horror, but did you have to look like one?
Easy, Jonathan, easy.
Lorna, have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were boys? Remember the time you were tied to the bedpost? The needles under your fingertips?
God, it is Jonathan. Yes, I remember. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
Now don't you two boys start quarreling again the minute you've seen each other.
There's not going to be any fight. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Well, just for tonight.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
Well, we did tell them they could stay, and it wouldn't be very nice to go back on our word.
Oh, all right. For tonight. But first thing in the morning, out. Where are they sleeping?
They're taking Jonathan's old room.
That's my old room. I'm sleeping there. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
John, you sleep down here tonight.
Yeah, you bet your life to sleep down there.
You sleep on the sofa, and I sleep on the window seat.
The window seat? Oh, well, there's no use arguing about it, is there? I'll sleep on the window seat. The window seat is good enough for me for tonight.
John, all this argument, it makes me think of Mr. Spinazzo.
Spinazza! Well, now, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is very unconvincing.
Oh, Johnny, I get the bags, yeah?
No, don't bother, Doctor. I already told you to stay right here.
By the way, Doctor, I completely lost track of Mr. Spinazza.
Who is this Mr. Spinazzo?
Oh, he's just a friend of ours Johnny's been looking for, that's all.
Well, don't you bring anyone else around here.
It's okay, Johnny. While we pack our bags, I'll tell you all about it.
Mortimer, you don't have to sleep down here. I can go into Martha's room and you can take my room.
No trouble at all, Aunt Abby. We'll be packed in a few minutes. And then you can have the room.
You're just wasting your time. I already told you I'm sleeping right here on this window seat.
Mortimer,
What's the matter, dear?
I've almost been killed.
You've almost... Abby! Martha!
He mistook her for a sneak thief.
No, it was more than that. He's some kind of maniac. Mortimer, I'm afraid of him.
Oh dear, you're trembling. Have some smelling salts?
No, do you think some hot tea or coffee?
Tea. Coffee. Make some for me too. I haven't had any dinner.
And make something for the both of you.
Mark, we can leave our hats downstairs here now.
Were you going somewhere? Do you know what time it is? It's after 12. 12! Elaine, you've got to get going. I've got to do something.
What? I thought you said you wanted some sandwiches for the both of you.
Don't you remember we wanted to celebrate your engagement? Yes, that's what we'll do. We'll make a nice supper for the both of you. And I'll open a bottle of wine.
All right. No wine!
Mortimer, what is going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
You were supposed to take me to dinner in the theater tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you. I said I would, and 5 minutes later, you threw me out of the house. Now, just after your brother tries to strangle me, you want to chase me home. Now, listen, Mr. Brewster, before I go home, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
Elaine, I love you very much. In fact, I love you so much that I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
I don't think so, but it's just a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops. That's why I can't marry you, dear.
Now, just because Teddy is a
No, it's more than that. The first Brewster, the one who came here on the Mayflower, he was a violent man.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, the whole family. My grandfather, well, he tried his patent medicines out on dead people to be sure he wouldn't kill them.
But he wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. I mean, you just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
He's your brother, not you.
And then there's Teddy. You know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, dear, no Brewster should marry. I realize now that if I had known my father, I'd have stopped him.
Now, darling, all of this doesn't prove you're crazy. Look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, ain't they? And they're the sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their peculiarities.
Oh, yes, but what lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one.
Oh, Mortimer, there are plenty of other ones. You can't tell me anything about your...
I'm not going to, Elaine. You've got to go home. Something has just come up.
From where? We're here alone together.
Look, I know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it down to the fact that I'm a mad rooster.
If you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're insane, you're crazy. Maybe you're not going to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, don't.
Well, if you love me, will you just get out of here?
Well, at least walk me home, won't you? I'm afraid.
Afraid? A little walk through the cemetery?
Mortimer, will you kiss me goodnight?
All right, dear. Elaine, you've got to go home.
You critic!
Aunt Abby and Martha, come in here.
We'll be in a minute, dear.
Come in here now.
Yes, dear, what is it?
I thought you told me you weren't going to let anyone in this house while I was gone.
Well, Jonathan just walked
I
in.
am not talking about Jonathan.
And Dr. Einstein was with
I
him.
am not talking about Dr. Einstein. Who is this in the window seat?
We told you, Mr. Hoskins.
This is not Mr. Hoskins.
Now, who can that be?
Are you trying to tell me you've never seen this gentleman before?
I certainly am. Now, to find how you do, it's getting to be so that anybody thinks he can just walk in his house.
Aunt Abby, how can I believe you? You admitted to me you put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat. Well, this man couldn't have just gotten the idea from Mr. Hoskins. Where is Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, he must have gone down to Panama.
Oh, you buried him.
No, we haven't had a minute while Jonathan in the house. Of course, we have always wanted to have a double funeral. But I will not read services over a total stranger.
A stranger? Aunt Abby, how can I believe you? There are 12 graves in the cellar and you admit you poisoned them.
I did, but you don't think I'd stoop to telling a fib. Martha!
Oh, Lord, I'd like to have a word with you.
A word's about all you'll have time for, because I've decided you and your doctor friend have got to get out of this house and just about as quickly as possible.
I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof. But I'm afraid you've arrived at the wrong solution. Take your suitcase and get out!
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You played your one-night stand in Brooklyn. Move on.
I'm staying and you're leaving. And I mean now.
If you think I should be frightened, if you think there is anything...
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer. But it's taught me one thing. To be afraid of nothing!
Martha, you just look and see what's in that.
Now, Jonathan, let Martha see what's in the window seat. And Daddy, I owe you an apology. I have some exciting news for you. Jonathan is leaving. Yes, and he's taking his doctor friend and their cold companion with him. Jonathan, you're my brother. You're Brewster. I'm going to give you a chance to get away and take the evidence with you. You can't ask for more than that. Very well. Then in that case, I'll just have to call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone! Are you still giving me orders after seeing what happened to Mr. Spinalzo?
Spinalzo? I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember, what happened to Mr. Spinalzo can happen to you too.
Oh, hello, Miss Abby.
Hello, Sir O'Hara. Come in. Is there something we can do for you?
Oh, I just saw a light on the window and thought there might be sickness in the household. Oh, you have company. I'm sorry to disturb you.
No, come in.
Yes. Yes, come right in, Officer O'Hara.
Pleased to meet you.
And this is another nephew, Jonathan.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, must be nice having your nephews visiting you. Are they going to be staying with you for a bit?
I'm staying. My brother Jonathan is leaving.
I've seen you around here before, haven't I?
No, Jonathan hasn't been home for many years.
It's just your face looks so familiar to me. Maybe I've seen a picture of you somewhere.
I don't think so.
Yes, Jonathan, I'd run away if I were you. Your things are all packed anyway, aren't they?
Oh, well, you'll be wanting to say your goodbyes, so I'll be running along.
No, stay a little bit. We were just about to have some coffee. I'd like to see you stay until my brother goes.
I forgot the coffee.
Oh, I better make some more sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by now, Officer O'Hara.
Don't worry, I'm due to ring in a few minutes anyway.
No, you can stay for some coffee, can't you? My brother is just leaving.
Say, ain't I seen a picture of your brother around here someplace before?
I don't think so.
He certainly reminds me of somebody.
Yeah, he looks like someone you might have seen in the movie.
Oh, I don't go to movies. I hate him. My mother says they is a bastard on.
Yes, it's full of a... Your mother said that?
Yep. She was an actress. A stage actress. Perhaps you've heard of her? She went by the name Peaches Latour.
That sounds like a name I might have seen in the program. What did she play?
Well, her big hit was Mutt and Jeff. She played for 3 years. I was born on tour.
You were?
Third season.
Well, you were?
Yep. Sioux City, Iowa. Mother went backstage at the end of the second act and gave birth to me in the dressing room. And still made the finale.
What a trooper. There must be a great story in your mother. You know, I write about the theater.
You do?
Yes.
Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic?
Yes, I am.
Boy, am I delighted to meet you. Say, Mr. Brewster, we're in the same line of business.
We are?
Yep. I'm a playwright. Oh, this being in the police force is just temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years. I'm collecting material for a show.
Oh, that is a honey.
Well, it ought to be. With all the material I got being a cop. Mr. Brewster, you have no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
I think I have.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1?
I gotta ring it.
Wait, O'Hara, about the Plaguers, I can help you, you know.
You would?
Yes.
Look, I'll tell you the problem.
Oh, you're going, are you, Jonathan? Well, and you too, Mr. Einstein. Well, I'd get going if I were you. You haven't got much time.
Well, everything's just about ready. Oh, you're leaving now, Jonathan. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Oh, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, Jonathan, you can't leave without taking all of your things with you. Well, O'Hara, it was nice to see you. I'll talk to you some other time about that play of yours.
Oh, I'm not leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
Well, why not?
You did just say you'd help me write my play, did you not? You and me are gonna write my play together.
I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer.
Oh, well, then creative. You just put the words to it.
No, but O'Hara.
No, sorry, Mr. Brewster. No, I'm not leaving until I've told you the plot.
In that case, Mortimer will be running the...
No, Jonathan! You can't leave without taking everything with you, you know? Well, O'Hara, it was really nice to see you, but I think you have to go with me.
I can wait. I've been waiting 12 years.
Sorry, I was so late.
Don't bring that in here, Aunt Martha. O'Hara, why don't you join us for a bite in the kitchen?
The kitchen?
Jonathan's leaving.
Oh! Oh, well, that's nice. Come along, Officer.
You sure you don't mind eating in the kitchen, officer?
And where else would you eat?
Well, goodbye, Jonathan. Nice to have seen you again.
Jonathan, I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn, because it gives me a chance to throw you out. And the first one I want gone is your boyfriend, Mr. Spinalzo.
Hi, Mr. Russo. Good talking here.
Yeah, coming right in.
I might have known you grew up to write a play for policeman.
Get going, all three of you.
Doctor, this affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Now, Johnny, we got trouble enough. Your brother gives us a chance to get away. What more could you ask for?
You don't understand. This goes back a good many years.
Now, Johnny, let's get going.
He knows that Mr. Spinalzo's in the window seat. But that's all he's got in us. We'll take Mr. Spinalzo down and dump him in the bay. And come right back here. Then, if he tries to interfere,
All right, Johnny. If we're coming back here, do we got to take these with us?
no, leave them here. Hide them in the cellar. Move fast! Spinalzo can go out the same way he came in.
Hey, Johnny! Know that hole in the cellar?
Yes?
We gone in the hole. Come, I show you.
Jonathan? Jonathan! Jonathan! Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer?
Where were the two of you? I thought I told you to get going.
We're not going.
Oh, you're not, eh? You think I'm not serious about this? Do you want O'Hara to come in here and find out what's in the window seat?
We're staying here.
Alright, well, let's get rid of you and O'Hara in one shot. Officer O'Hara, will you please come in here?
If you tell O'Hara what's in the window seat, I'll tell what's down in the cellar.
In the cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What were you doing down in the cellar?
What's he doing down in the cellar?
No thanks, ma'am. I'll be fine. I've had plenty.
Now, what are you going to say to O'Hara?
Say, Mr. Brewster, your aunts want to hear about the play too. Should I bring them in here and play the plot?
You can't do that.
And O'Hara, you get to bring in.
To hell with bringing in. I'll get your aunts, and I'll tell you what plot.
No, O'Hara, you can't. Not in front of all these people. Oh, look, why don't I meet you sometime later in private and you could tell me about your play?
Say, how about the back room at Kelly's?
Perfect. You go bring in and I'll meet you at Kelly's.
Why don't you two go down in the cellar?
That's fine with me. Is this the cellar?
No, O'Hara, we can't do that. You've got to bring in and I'll meet you at Kelly's, okay?
All right, this will only take a few minutes.
I'll ditch this guy and I'll be back in 5 minutes. When I come back, I expect the two of you to be gone. Wait for me.
Well, wait for him, Doctor. I've waited a great many years for a chance like this.
We got him right where we want him. Did he look guilty?
Take the bags back up to our room, Doctor.
They've been gone. Oh, we thought we heard somebody leave.
Just Mortimer. And he'll be back in a few minutes. Is there any food left in the kitchen? I think Dr. Einstein and I would enjoy a bite.
But you won't have time.
No, if you're still here when Mortimer gets back, he won't mind.
Oh, they like it. He's got to like it.
Get something for us to eat while we bury Mr. Spinalzo down in the cellar.
Oh, no. He can't stay in our cellar. No, you have to take him with you.
There's a friend of Mortimer's downstairs waiting for him.
Friend of Mortimer's?
He and Mr. Spinalzo will get along fine together. They're both dead.
They must be Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
You know about what's downstairs?
Of course we do, and he has nothing to do with Mortimer. Mr. Hoskins is one of our gentlemen.
Your gentleman.
And we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
But Mr. Hoskins...
Mr. Hoskins isn't a stranger.
Besides, the cellar's crowded enough already.
Crowded? With what?
There are 12 graves down there now.
12 graves?
That leaves very little room if we are going to need.
You mean you and Aunt Martha have murdered?
Murder? Certainly not. It's one of our charities.
My, what we've been doing is mercy.
So you just take your Mr. Spinaldo out of here.
You've done that. Here in this house. And you buried them down there!
Oh, Johnny! We get chased all around the world, and these old ladies stay right here and do just as good as you.
What?
You've got 12, and they've got 12.
I've got 13!
No, Johnny, 12.
13! There's Mr. Spinalzo, then the first one in London, 2 in Johannesburg, 1 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona, a filling station,
Oh,
3 in Chicago, and the 1 in South Bend. That makes 13.
but you can't count the one in South Bend. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have got pneumonia if I hadn't shot him!
No, Johnny, he died of pneumonia. He don't count.
He counts with me. I say 13.
Oh, no, Johnny, you've got 12, and they've got 12. The old ladies are just as good as you
Oh, they are they? Well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is one more. That's all. Just one more.
Oh, here I am.
Stop that.
I'm warning you, this is our house, this is our cellar, and you can't do that.
Ladies, please, go back upstairs where you belong.
Abby, welcome to upstairs!
There's no use in your doing what you're doing because it'll just have to be undone.
I'm telling you, we don't like it, you better stop it.
All right. You'll find out whose house this is.
I'm warning you, you better stop that. Is Mortimer back in?
No.
That's a terrible thing to do to bury a good Methodist with a foreigner.
And we won't have our cellar desecrated.
You promised Mr. Hoskins full Christian burial. And when do you suppose Mortimer went?
I don't know, but he must be doing something because he said to Jonathan, "You just wait, I'll settle this."
Well, he can't very well settle it while he's out of the house. That's all we want settled. What's going on down there?
There is a happy house. All right now, where's Teddy?
Mortimer, where have you been?
Over to Dr. Gilchrist. I've got his signature here on Teddy's commitment papers, see?
Mortimer, what's the matter with you?
Running around getting papers signed at a time like this.
Do you know what Jonathan's been doing?
He's putting Mr. Hoskins and Mr. Spinalzo in together.
Oh, he is he? Well, let him. I've got to go and see Teddy. Is he in his room?
Teddy won't be any help.
When he signs these commitment papers, I can tackle Jonathan.
What have they got to do with it?
You had to go and tell Jonathan about those 12 graves. If I can make Teddy responsible for those, I can save the two of you. Don't you see?
No, I don't see. And we pay good taxes to have the police protect us.
All right, I'll be down in a minute.
Come on, we're going to the police.
All right. The police? You can't go for the police.
Why can't we?
Because if the police find out about Mr. Hoskins, they'll find Mr. Spinalzo too. And that might make them curious, and then they find your other 12 gentlemen.
Mortimer, we know the police better than you do. I don't think they go digging around in our private affairs if we ask them not to.
But if they found her 12 graves, they'd have to report at the headquarters.
Well, they'd have to make out a long report, and if there's one thing a policeman hates to do, it's to write.
You can't depend on that. It might leak out, and you couldn't expect a judge or a jury to understand.
Oh, Judge Coolman would.
We know him very well.
He always comes to church to pray, just before election.
And he's coming to see with us one day. He's promised.
Abby, we must speak to him about that. His wife died a few years ago, and it's left him very lonely.
Well, come along.
No, you can't do this. I won't let you. You can't leave this house, and you can't have Judge Coleman over Petit.
Well, if you're not going to do something about Mr. Spinalzo, we are.
I am going to do something. Well, we might have to call on the police later, but if we do, I want to be ready for them. I'm going to see Ted.
You've got to get Jonathan out of this house.
And Mr. Spinalzo, too.
Oh, they'll be out. Go to bed, the two of you. And for God's sake, take off those clothes. You look like Judith Anderson.
Well, Abby, that's a relief, isn't it?
Yes, if they're finally going to be out of this house, we better tell Jonathan to stop what he's doing. Oh, Jonathan! You better stop what you've been doing. You're just wasting your time.
It's all done. Did I hear more?
Well, then it will just have to be undone. You're going to be out of this house by morning. Mortimer's promised.
Oh, are we? In that case, you and Martha can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep.
Yes. Come, Abby.
Good night, aunties.
No, not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time you wake up, you'll be out of this house. Mortimer's promised.
That Mortimer is back.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Yes, goodbye, Jonathan.
Perhaps you better say goodbye to Mortimer.
Oh, you'll see, Mortimer.
Yes. I'll see Mortimer.
Oh, that's all fixed up, smooth like a lake. Nobody'd ever know we were down there. Oh, Johnny, that bed feels good already. 48 hours we didn't sleep. I get the bags, yeah?
You're forgetting, Doctor,
What?
my brother Mortimer.
Johnny, not tonight. I'm tired.
No, tonight!
Johnny,
Now!
I got to operate tomorrow.
Yes, you're operating tomorrow, Doctor. But tonight we take care of Mortimer.
Johnny, I can't. I'm weak.
Doctor!
I'm tired.
Look at me. You can see it's going to be done, can't you?
Oh, I can see. I know that look.
It's a little too late for us to dissolve our partnership.
Okay. But the quick way. The quick twist like in London, yeah?
No, Doctor. I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps the Melbourne method.
Johnny, no, not that. 2 hours. And when it was done, the fellow in Melbourne was just as dead as the fellow in London.
We had to work too fast in London. There was no aesthetic satisfaction. But Melbourne. Ah, there was something to remember.
Remember? Oh, I wish I didn't, Johnny. I won't do it.
Yes, Doctor. Where are the instruments?
I won't do it. I won't tell you.
Get your instruments!
No, Johnny, I won't.
Where are they?
I won't tell you.
Oh, yes. You hid them in the cellar. Where?
No, I won't tell you, Johnny.
I'll find them, Doctor.
Oh, don't do that, Mr. President.
I cannot sign any proclamation without consulting my cabinet.
But this must be a secret proclamation.
A secret proclamation? How unusual.
China mustn't know until it's signed.
China? I'll sign it immediately. You have my word for it, the cabinet will know later.
Yes, let's go and sign it.
A secret proclamation has to be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr. President.
You have my word for it. I'll go change my signing book.
Oh, you going now, yeah?
Not now, Doctor. I've got to wait for something very important.
No, please, you go now.
Look, Jonathan, look, Dr. Einstein, I have nothing against you personally. You seem like a nice gentleman. Take my advice and get out of this house.
I'm warning you. Get away quick.
Okay, don't say I didn't warn you.
Listen. Johnny's in a bad mood. When he's like this, things happen. Terrible things.
Jonathan doesn't worry me now.
Ah, Himmel, don't those places teach you anything?
About what?
Well, at least people in plays act like they got sense. That's more than you do.
Oh, you think so? Do you think people in plays act intelligently? Huh. I wish you had to sit through some of the ones I've had to sit through. Take this little opus I saw tonight, for instance. In the play, there's a man. He's supposed to be bright. He knows he's in a house with murderers. He ought to know he's in danger. He's even been warned to get out of the house. But does he go? No, he stays there. Now, I ask you, Doctor, is that something an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me!
He doesn't have the sense to be scared or be on guard. For instance, the murderer asks him to sit down.
You mean... Won't you sit down?
Believe it or not, that was in there too.
And what happens next?
He sits down. Now, mind you, Doctor, this fella is supposed to be bright. So there he sits, just waiting to be dressed up. And you'll never guess what they used to tie him up with.
What?
The curtain cord.
Oh. Why not? A good idea. Very
A
convenient.
little too convenient. When a writer's got use of imagination, the curtain cord.
Oh, and you didn't see him get it.
See him? He sat there with his back in like this. Now, mind you, this fella is supposed to be bright, and this is what we critics have to sit through night after night. And they say it's the critics who are killing the theater. Well, it's the playwrights that are killing the theater. So there he sits, the big dope, the fella who's supposed to be bright, just waiting to be trussed up and gagged.
Oh, you're right about that fella. He wasn't very bright.
Now, Mortimer, if you don't mind, we'll finish the story. I've been away for 20 years, but never once in all that time, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. In Melbourne one night, I dreamed of you. When I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction. Once more, I was in the same country. Is it? Now, Doctor, we go to work.
Johnny, I can't do this without a drink.
Doctor, hold yourself together.
Johnny, when we came in here this afternoon, there was wine here. Yes. Where did she put that? Oh, here, Johnny, look. We got the drink. I poured for us. We split it. both get a drink. We both need a drink.
One moment, Doctor. Please. Where are your manners? Yes, more than that. I realize now it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, to my dear dead brother. There he is! Ah, God! He goes next. That's all. He goes next.
Nothing! Nothing! Stop! Nothing!
He gets a tiny later.
No, we don't get him at all!
Now we gotta work fast.
Yeah, quick,
Let's go to the quick way.
Hey! Tell the colonel to quit blowing that horn.
It's all right, officer. We're taking the bugle away from you.
There's gonna be hell to pay in the morning. We promised the neighbors you wouldn't do that anymore.
It won't happen again, officer. Good night.
No, I've got to speak to him myself. Where are the lights? Hey! You stood me up. An hour for you at Kelly's. What's up with him?
He was just explaining a play he just saw. That's what happened to the fella in the play.
This happened in the play you saw?
Well,
Hey, it practically started from the second act of my show. See, in my second act, just before the... No, I better begin from the beginning. It begins in my mother's dressing room, where I was born. Except, I ain't born yet. Huh? Oh, yeah. No, you gotta hear the plot. There she is in her dressing room, making up, when all of a sudden, in through the door barges a man with a big black mustache. And he asks her a question. Miss LaCour, will you marry me? Except he doesn't know she's pregnant. There she is, making up. The gaucho is standing over her with a hatchet. I'm tied up in a chair just like you are. The place is in an inferno of flames. It's on fire. When all of a sudden, in through the window, was none other than Mayor LaGuardia. Hey, take it easy. Remember who bought this?
Well, I'm listening, ain't I?
So, how do you like it so far?
Well, it put Johnny to sleep.
Well, if he don't got nothing to do with my show, then he don't get a drink. All right. Now, where was I? It's 3 days later. And I'm just been transferred. And I'm going to charge us because my badge got stolen. All right. I'm walking my beat on Staten Island, 46th precinct, when all of a sudden, turns out the guy I've been following is really following me. Don't let anybody in. So I says to myself, I gotta play it safe. I sees a house on the corner. I goes in. It's cops! There in the dark of the house, I sees the door handle turn.
Johnny, it's cops! It's cops!
So, I pulls out my guns, and I braces myself up against the wall. And all I says, come in! Hello, boys.
What the hell is going on in here?
Hey, Matt. What do you know? This here's Mortimer Brewster. He's helping me write my play. I'm just telling him the story.
Did you have the time up to make him listen?
Joe, you better report in at the station. The whole force is out looking for you.
Did they Sent you here for me?
We didn't know you was here.
We came to warn the ladies that there's hell to pay. The colonel blew that bugle again in the middle of the night.
Yes, yes.
Say, I gotta bring in, so let me just tell you the third act real quick.
Get away from me.
Do you know what time it is? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I guess the first and second act do run a little long, so I gotta go. I just don't see anything to leave out.
You can leave it all out.
Who the hell is this guy?
That's my brother.
Oh, the one that ran away. So he came back?
Yeah, he came back.
This is Brophy, give me Mac. Joe, you better let them know we found you. Mac, you can tell the lieutenant to call for the big manhunt. We got it, in the Brewster house. Should we bring him in? Alright, we'll hold him here. The lieutenant's on his way over.
So I've been turned in, eh? All right. You got me. And I suppose you, that stool-pitcher brother of mine, will split the reward. Reward? Now I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are sweet, charming old ladies, don't you? Well, there are 13 bodies buried in their cellars.
Teddy!
What the hell are you talking about?
You better be careful what you're saying about your aunt. They happen to be friends of ours.
I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. You come to the cellar with me.
Wait a minute.
13 bodies! I'll show you where they're buried.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to see what's down in the cellar?
Go down in the cellar with me, man.
I'm not sure I want to go down in the cellar with him. Look at that puss. He looks like Boris Karloff.
Here! What do you think you're doing?
Yeah. What do you know about that?
What the hell are you two doing in here? I thought I told you honestly that. Oh my. Oh.
Well, sir, we were just about to.
What happened? Did he cause a fight?
This isn't the fellow that closed the bugle. This is his brother. He tried to defy him.
All I said is that he looked like Boris Karloff.
Turn him over.
We kinda think he's wanted somewhere.
Oh, you kind of think he's wanted somewhere. If you guys don't read the circulars we put up around the station, you can at least read True Detective. Of course he's wanted in Indiana. He escaped from the prison for the criminally insane. He's a lifer. For God's sakes, that's how he was described. He looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, and I'm claiming it.
He was trying to get us down in the cellar.
He said there are 13 bodies buried down there.
Okay, 13 bodies buried in the cellar, and that didn't tip you off you came out of the house?
I thought all along he seemed kind of crazy.
Oh, look, it's Shakespeare. Where have you been all night? Didn't you bother to tell me?
Right here. Writing my play with the Mortimer Brewster.
Oh, is that right? Well, you'll have plenty of time to write that play. You're suspended! Now get back and report it.
Say, can I come by some time to use the station typewriter?
No, get out of here! Take that guy someplace else and bring him to. See what you can find out about his accomplice. The guy that helped him escape, he's wanted too. No wonder Brooklyn's in the shape that it's in, with the police force full of flatheads like you, falling for that kind of a story. 13 bodies buried in a cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I'm President Roosevelt.